Welcome to The Catalyst, an exciting and insightful podcast produced by Northeast Iowa Community College. I'm your host, Amy Lasack. Together, we'll explore the people, programs, and partnerships that make Northeast Iowa Community College unique. From student success stories to behind-the-scenes info about athletics, innovation, and industry collaboration, each episode dives deeper into your community's college. Get ready for an inside look at the impact of community-driven education at NICC. Well, welcome back to the Catalyst podcast. Today we're talking about how employer voices directly shape the programs that we build here at Northeast Iowa Community College. Through our regular Manufacturing Alliance group, one workforce need kept rising to the top, the need for talent. And for some of those foundational skills needed to be successful in today's manufacturing environment. And so NICC is launching a brand new career pathway certificate, our core manufacturing skills certificate. It's designed to help individuals build the basic skills needed to start a career in manufacturing while helping employers strengthen their talent pipeline. So I'm joined by two manufacturing leaders from our Alliance group to talk about what they're seeing in their industry and why these core skills matter so much and how this new pathway can open doors for individuals. So I want to welcome Jason Moeller. He's the Director of Fabrication and Operational Excellence at MyDM, and Shannon Westin, Director of Human Resources at Featherlite Trailers. Welcome to the both of you.
Thanks
so much for having me.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. So it might surprise people that employers who typically compete for the same pool of workers are willing to work together on a certificate such as this. And we actually have 13 employers on board. So why is it important for you as an employer to help put together a certificate like this and assist with pipeline needs for the industry as a whole? Jason, we'll start with you.
I personally think it's very important just for the fact that when you think about just manufacturing in general and the need for manufacturing, if we build the right skill set and have the tools for people to succeed earlier in their careers, it just makes all manufacturers that much more competitive. When you think about, going back to even early on when you could come in and everything was hands-on training and you learn the hard way. If you can get a head start and not have to go through all of the trials and tribulations that maybe some of our team members early on in their careers had to go through, and they have that advantage when they step in the door, it's just a competitive advantage for all of us. The other thing that as we've been going through this process, we've really appreciated the partnership is just the being able to share best practices with other manufacturers in the community and saying, how do we continue to evolve this and make each other stronger? So it's just a great partnership overall.
Yeah, and who doesn't like a head start on anything, right?
Yep.
Shannon, I'm assuming you agree with a lot of that. What are your thoughts related to working with other manufacturers to strengthen the pipeline?
I think ultimately we're all looking for the same thing, and that's trying to help people find success. And whether that's in our organization or, a manufacturer down the street, ultimately, we want people to be happy in their roles. And that may be CNC machining. It may be, welding at a trailer manufacturing facility like ours. And ultimately, it's not great for us if we've got somebody in the role that doesn't enjoy doing it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not great for the organization. That passion is really what drives success. And so ultimately, I think just helping, work together to make sure we're establishing the building blocks that people can come in and see if it's a fit for them and grow long-term success, whether it's here or with a neighboring manufacturing facility. There's lots of great opportunities that people can be passionate about in manufacturing.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And I mentioned earlier, we have 13 different manufacturers that have signed on to support the certificate. Iowa Rotoplastics, Featherlite Trailers, Illumline, Right Height, Donaldson Filtration Solutions, Trimark, MyDM, Unison, Engineering Services and Products, Deco, Avica, Clower Manufacturing, and Calmer Manufacturing. So when we say manufacturing, it really encompasses a wide variety of different subsets of manufacturing. So Shannon, can you talk a little bit about Featherlite trailers and what you all do for somebody who's not familiar? And then Jason, I'd love for you to do the same about MyDM.
Yeah, absolutely. So we are a longstanding, trusted manufacturer of trailer products and mobile solutions, really. So we've got one of the widest ranges of products in the industry, anything from a utility trailer, open utility trailer, all the way to a custom race car transporter. And so everything in between. So a really wide range of the work that we do. We are headquartered in Cresco, Iowa, and employ a team of approximately 400 highly skilled, passionate people.
Great. And Jason, what about MyDM?
Well, MyDM is actually 55 years this year, so we're celebrating 55 years. The bread and butter really started with our power washer, and then it's evolved over time. So we have both hot and cold water pressure washers, we do air compressors, we do generators. And then on the fabrication side, where I spend a lot of my time, we also we call it farm out our capacity to other local manufacturers. So when we talk about not only the partnership with the NICC, but the partnership that we have with other local manufacturers, we all kind of share work, because maybe somebody has a press that we don't have, or maybe we have a certain type of robot to weld components for them. So not only sharing the talent, but we also share a lot of the capacity and capabilities that we may not have or somebody else may not have.
Yeah, I love that about the manufacturing industry. And I've had a chance to walk through each of your plants here in the last couple of years, and it's so impressive. What would you say to somebody who maybe hasn't been in a manufacturing plant for 20 years? And what's changed? Jason, we'll start with you.
It's not what people think of in manufacturing. So if you think about manufacturing and maybe some of the old stereotypes where it's dark and dingy and it's no longer. When you think about manufacturing, there's a lot of just changes, whether it's in technology, whether it's just how people treat manufacturing. I mean, we take pride in our overall housekeeping, making sure that things are kept up to speed from a facility standpoint. But at the same time, it's a selling point when you talk about recruiting, and you can use your facility as a recruiting aspect. That's what we take pride in, our overall just cleanliness and being able to invite people to showcase our products, because it's a selling point for us as well.
Yeah, and Shannon, it's very, very similar to what I experienced when I went through Featherlite.
Absolutely. I think people can expect much safer, comfortable workspaces. I feel like things are much more data driven probably than they were 20 years ago. And so the work is different in a sense. We're much more efficient in things than maybe we were 20 years ago. And then there are some pieces that are the same though, and that's really getting to dive into important work and get good at a skill. And so that people that are passionate about that part of it, it's still very hands-on in manufacturing as well.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that gets overlooked a lot in Iowa manufacturing is our footprint across the country and across the world, really. Each of your plants extend way beyond the town or the state that you're in. Jason, here's a chance for you to brag a little bit about MyDM and kind of everywhere that you've had a chance to have a product touch.
Yeah, I mean, it's no longer just we're shipping things regionally. I mean, we're all over. Depending on the situation, there's been products that we've had to ship to other countries to help out with post hurricane or post emergency type of weather patterns. So our products touch end to end, and we also from a global economy, supply chains are kind of set up that way too. We have seen a little bit of change over the last a couple of years for sure, where we're trying to bring more manufacturing back into the United States. But right now, there's still a lot of manufacturers that have to deal with the ever evolving supply chains that we have, and getting our name and our recognition out there has always been something that we strive to do.
Mm-hmm. And I know Featherlite, Shannon, has really put its footprint on some pretty big stages.
Absolutely. We partner with, especially on the specialty side of the business, some big names in the world, partners of NASCAR, and we've done trailers from some really unique places. We do some military type work as well. And so similarly to Jason, our products are found all over the world, and we take a lot of pride in that. And it brings a fun customer base as well. And I think just knowing that you got to watch something be built, from absolutely nothing into something that goes out in a beautiful state to a really cool customer, that feels very neat. There's a lot of pride there for sure.
So as an employer in manufacturing, what are some of the biggest challenges that you are facing today, Shannon?
I think just we have a pretty tenured group, similar to a lot of manufacturing places, I think, and those retirements are starting to happen, and new tools have really been introduced in the last couple of years through AI and just different software. So you've got it kind of coming from both directions. You've got a lot of your knowledge leaving and a lot of new tools entering, and trying to get that timing right into, that transfer of knowledge into that understanding of the new tools. And so that succession planning is critical and challenging at the same time. Getting the timing right is a challenge sometimes.
And Jason, what kind of challenges are you facing?
Yeah, Shannon said it perfectly. I think every employer has those same challenges, but I think, even taking that to the next step, you think about, the tenure and the things that people have in their head, because maybe early in their careers, we didn't document things. It takes longer to be able to train somebody. So how do we take that and learn from that and be able to do better documentation and prepare for those retirements? Because we've relied on a lot of tenure, a lot of great tenure, and that's what we built our foundation on. But part of my role is to make sure that we can bridge that gap to the future and being able to take those experiences and definitely make it easier for that next generation coming in.
Sure. So these retirements also will create opportunity for other people who are interested in getting their foot in the door at manufacturing. What sort of traits make somebody be successful within a manufacturing industry?
I personally, if you think about somebody that can come in and is hardworking, and we can train all the other aspects, but if somebody is driven, hardworking, willing to learn, those are skills that doesn't necessarily get taught in a class or anything like that. And we can take that and mold them into, very good MIDM core manufacturing talent. And, when I think about, coming from like a athletic background, when you have some of those traits being in athletics or anything that helps drive that competitiveness, that's also something that when you look at those skills and that desire to be better all the time, those are things that, we look at and saying, does this individual want to go and improve himself every single day? So once again, whether it's athletics, you're a band member, whatever it is, and you want to continue to grow as an individual, that's, when we interview, that's kind of what we look for.
Yeah, that's a very good point about those transferable skills. If somebody might not have thought that the skills that they have might transfer into a job at a manufacturing facility. Yeah. Shannon, are you kind of seeing the same thing? Are there other traits that make somebody a good candidate?
Yeah, I definitely agree with Jason that like innate motivation to win, right? We all want to win and do better and be the best we can. And so that motivation is key. But I think just honestly, like learning agility, being able to pick up skills quickly, whether it's a new skill or a new software, some digital knowledge as well, right? And comfort for sure is important in the new world. And then also the the technical pieces that are just critical of manufacturing as well, like how to read blueprints and a tape measure. So it's kind of a good mix of all of the different skills. And I guess that's kind of what makes manufacturing unique. I really think people that come out of manufacturing could really go anywhere and be successful because it's such a wide scope of the things they have to know and do well.
Yeah, and a lot of what you both just shared was what we heard from the Manufacturing Alliance as we were creating the certificate. And so individuals that were to go through that certificate would really be able to communicate to you that, hey, I demonstrated this by completing the certificate. So that's as you mentioned, Jason, a step forward or get a head start.
Yeah, and when you think about it, and I was just thinking about this when Shannon was talking. So even like when I went through shop class in high school and just thinking about how that's evolved over time and being able to read a tape measure maybe down to only 1/8 of an inch. And now precision manufacturing, you have to get down to the decimal level and just being able to take that and be able to build upon that skill set, because it's not something that right now it's taught very often in high schools. So being able to not only read a tape measure, but to be able to think about the precision equipment that we have to use to perform at the highest level from a quality standpoint, that's definitely something that we're looking forward to continuing this partnership with.
Yeah, I know a lot of the positions at both your facilities require skill sets like decision making, being able to analyze, teamwork, communication. All of those pieces are such critical pieces to be successful.
Absolutely.
So talk a little bit too about automation, smart manufacturing, how that has evolved over the last couple of years, because I think there's still a perception out there that, you don't need to be very smart to go into manufacturing. It's a physical job, but that could be furthest from the truth.
Yeah, when you think about smart manufacturing, and I'll speak both from my DM and my previous experience, smart manufacturing, it's truly, you still have to blend the talent that you have and try to make it easier. And we use you want to work smarter, not harder. And that's really where that smart technology comes in, because we want to make sure that we can build in quality. So it doesn't have to be always on the individual to make those quality decisions. How do you make, whether it's the use of paper? We just recently implemented an ERP system to be able to tie manufacturing together. And Shannon talked about data driven, having computers to be able to tell you, like, if a machine is starting to run hot, or the downtime is starting to get a little out of control, or even tracking efficiencies. Those are all things that we're working towards, and blending the skill and the craftsmanship that we have within our team and bringing that smart manufacturing and trying to blend the two of them.
Yeah, and Shannon, a big part of the certificate is also safety and the role that plays within manufacturing.
Absolutely. It's critical to the success of an organization, really, to be safe. And so I think it's a critical part of the class, and it's a part that not only will benefit the organization, but will really drive positive outcomes through the length of their employment. So the things that they're learning, I think it's part of the OSHA 10. Is that correct? That we've got in the course, Amy?
Yep, absolutely.
Yep. So having that safety knowledge is really going to add value to any organization that they join immediately. Help reduce injuries and outcomes for all employees.
No, that's another thing, just on smart technology too, and building in safety to our equipment. So it's one thing to, once again, have that 10-year person that can run the machine, but you have to rely on that smart technology. So whether it's light curtains, whether it's floor mats, anything like that, we have to build that within our processes now. And that's the evolution over time from a manufacturing standpoint. It's OSHA mandated, but every employer is part of that safety-driven culture that everyone needs to have.
Yeah, absolutely. That culture is embedded.
Yeah.
And I'm hearing, when it comes to safety and quality, those are two pieces that I hear from every manufacturer we talk to.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, that's definitely what, the most competitive and the most successful, those top two right there, safety and quality. The rest will fall in place if you have good safety and you have good quality.
Absolutely.
Great. Well, I don't know if you've heard our podcast before, but we tend to have a fun little fact or fiction segment to round off the end of that. So if you're game, I'd love to play that with you both as well.
I'm good.
I'm in if you're in, Jason.
I'm in.
All right. So Shannon, we're gonna start with you with an easy one, okay?
Perfect.
If you haven't been in a manufacturing plant in 25 years, not much has changed. Is that fact or fiction?
I would say fiction.
Yes.
Fiction.
If you were listening, you probably heard Jason talk about that a little earlier too.
Yep.
All right, Jason, how about manufacturing today requires more problem solving than people realize?
100% fact. I talked about it earlier, and sometimes when you have parts with the precision that we have to make, and you're trying to figure out why they don't fit together, there's a lot of problem solving that goes into that. So, and that's also part of the lean program that we're developing and understanding how do you get everyone solving problems together. So
Great.
Definitely a fact.
So Shannon, you have to spend years in a classroom before you're job ready for a manufacturer. Is that fact or fiction?
Fiction. We've got a lot of great team members, and I'm sure Jason does too. It's great to get those basics in, and of course, like we've got created through NICC with this partnership and the other manufacturers. However, we've got a lot of great talent that does a fantastic job of really helping to train our new employees, and are more than willing to help pass along that skill for people that have the motivation and desire to learn it. So we do a lot of on-the-job training, and I think a lot of other manufacturing facilities do as well. This is a great base to really get a jump start on some of that.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things I'm most impressed with Iowa manufacturers is you're really a lifelong learner if you work at a manufacturing plant. There's a lot of time and effort invested in our manufacturing employees.
Absolutely.
All right. So Jason, someone can build a long career in manufacturing even if they start only with foundational skills that the core manufacturing skill certificate can offer. Is that fact or fiction?
That is fact. And we both talked about it now. We have a lot of tenure employees. In fact, we just celebrated somebody's 41st service award, and
Wow.
which is just crazy to think about. But 41 years for one company is unreal.
That is unreal. That's fantastic. I love hearing those types of stories. Shannon, how about upskilling current employees always means losing production time?
I totally fiction.
So tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so I think you actually gain sometimes in productivity by having depth in your organization. And then honestly, it really improves engagement. I think when people really understand the larger scope of what's going on in a manufacturing facility, they find more value in the work that they do. They can weigh in more situations and add ideas that are valuable and cherished ideas. So, if it's a slowdown here, you gain tenfold in another area. So fiction for sure.
And I'll just add to her because I agree with her answer 100%. And I think when you think about it's beyond getting the certificate from NICC. If employers don't continue that education here or wherever, that's just the skills that we're losing. So we want to continue developing those year over year. And whether it's 15 minutes here, half hour there, it comes back tenfold. So definitely that continued development. And once again, working with somebody like NICC, where we've had customized trainings where we've asked for where we didn't necessarily have a skill set here. Hey, we're needing this, and NICC's been able to help us out.
Great. Jason, last one for you. How about the right attitude and willingness to learn can matter as much as technical experience?
1000%. The attitude trumps everything, and if you come in with a great attitude, you can be very successful.
Great. Well, believe it or not, we're rounding out our time together for the podcast. So I want to thank both of you. And if you're listening to this and you have interest, I would encourage you to go to our website to check out our core manufacturing skills class. We will be starting 2 classes, one up in the northern area on our Calmar campus and one in the southern region at our Piasta campus, because we have employers in both areas who are super interested in sending people and hiring from those classes as well. So go to our website. We've got the QR code up there, or you can give us a call at 563-562-3263 extension 1399. So Jason and Shannon, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks for
My
having me.
pleasure. Thank you.
So, and big thank you also to all our other Manufacturing Alliance leaders for sharing their insight and helping us build this particular certificate. We are super excited to see it run here in about a month. And for everybody listening, thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time. Thanks for joining us on this episode of The Catalyst. If you enjoyed the conversation, make sure to follow or subscribe on your favorite podcast platform so you never miss an episode. Want to learn more about NICC and the many ways we support our students, partners, and community? Visit nicc.edu for more resources and upcoming opportunities. This podcast is produced by Northeast Iowa Community College and hosted by me, Amy Lasack, with executive producer Tessa Hill, producer Travis Hunt, and graphic designer Ashley Conzen.